right, we're rolling.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, this is the earliest record we've done.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Hoedown. I'm Alyssa,
And I'm Amanda.
and we're just gonna hang out and bullshit, eat some cookies,
Yeah.
play with the dog, as we do.
It's the holiday season.
Yeah. Oh, happy solstice.
Yes.
By the way.
Yes.
I don't have any solstice plans. I just woke up and I was like, oh,
I keep sending solstice things to Wendy, but I forgot that it was today.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh, it's finally the shortest day of the year. That's so nice. Because I am in full on hibernation mode this time of the year. Like between the holidays and the fact that there's like 4 hours of daylight, I'm just like, I'm sleeping way too well. I mean, in the summer, I'm sleeping like 5 hours a night and I'm just like up all the time, running around like a chicken with my head cut off. So it's kind of nice to take it easy.
To have a rest period.
Yeah, because I'm very, very much like sunrise to sunset. That's what my body just does.
Right.
And so this time of year, just like
so sunset at like
sleep.
5 o'clock. It's time for bed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is how my body wants to operate.
So you might be like my grandma as well. Turn all the lights off and shut the shades at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm just like a bird, just put a blanket over my head. It's bedtime.
Yeah,
so.
I have to say, like 3 or 4 hours of darkness before bed is a lot of darkness.
It's a lot, yeah. But it's fine. Of course, it's like it's cruel solstice down here because it's like, yay, it's gonna start getting lighter, and then you also think about, oh yeah, 2 more months of the worst temperatures of the year.
Right, but we might get snow. Hopefully we get snow.
We might. I don't know, man. I moved from the Midwest down here. I'm good on snow just in general. I hit a lifetime
since we bought the farm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So the first year that we were down here, I think we got like 1.5 foot of snow, that like big snowstorm that year. I was like, God damn it. I just moved out of Detroit. I just got away from, like You're this kind of weather on a regular basis. Like, do not follow me. I'm not interested. But yeah, I mean,
when the kids were younger, we really liked snow for sledding, obviously. And
where do you sled around here? It's flat as hell.
Down by the park.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was
a little hill,
but it was awesome. Like that's what we did.
Yeah.
Right. We would go and we'd sled for all day.
Yeah.
Like they had such a good time. And then when we bought the farm, right, Wood Chip Mountain, we're like,
that's true.
We won't even need to go anywhere. It'll be covered in snow.
But they're like old enough now at this point that it's probably not.
Since we bought the farm.
Yeah.
So we've had Wood Chip Mountain, and then that's why we sled on the wood chips because
that'll do. Then you can sled during the summer.
Yes, but it's just not as it is. It's fun, but it's just not as I don't know. Sledding is still fun.
Well, yes, yeah. I mean, the one
we hope for snow.
Last Christmas was like kind of a nightmare situation for our whole family because I mean a confluence of issues, but the one genuinely like joyous part of that whole experience was that we were up in like northern Pennsylvania at this cabin, and obviously it's mountainous up there, and the cabin was like on the top of a hill. There was like a huge steep really good sledding hill, and it snowed while we were up there too, so we did some really good sledding with the fam. That was like the one good part of it. So yeah, I like the first snow of winter. Like one decent snow is fun. Oop, my dad is calling. Whoopsie doopsie. I'm just gonna. Sorry, Dad. I'm podcasting.
We're busy.
I have really important things to do here. But yeah, after like one snow, it's fun. And I mean, obviously out here, it's like, well, I don't have to shovel anything, so that's good at least. Because in Detroit, every time it snowed, I was like, all right, well, we have like 1,000 feet of sidewalk that we need to shovel too. And that was I don't mind shoveling that much. It's kind of like a fun workout, but doing it, multiple times a day, every few days in the winter.
I don't like
gets a little old.
Frozen waters for the animals and things like that. But we do like the silence and the quiet of snow at the farm. And,
Yeah,
it's nice.
I'll take it. I'm not a winter gal though. That's not my vibe really, but So yeah, we still have 2 months of that to look forward to, but whatever, it's fine. Yeah. I've started getting all of my seed catalogs in the mail.
Right. They're all coming in now. They're all coming in now. Yep.
Yeah. So, but I haven't even like cracked them open yet.
There's a
really. I was
hefty
like,
stack.
I have no. I still am recovering from this past year.
Yeah. Right. We'll have to. Yeah. Let's take it day by day.
Yeah.
Right. Like the garlic's in the ground for us too.
Hey.
So everything's done for us. Everything is done.
Yeah.
The popcorn still hasn't been completely harvested, but it's keeps
not going anywhere.
Yeah, with this rain back and forth, it's just been a mess to get out there. There's a good mud area out there.
Yeah, I think I was trying to figure out because we don't have a functioning rain gauge here. So I was like, how much rain did we get, this week? I think I checked and it was like 6.5 inches in our area, which is buck wild.
Yeah.
We need now we're officially finally out of like the drought territory that we've kind of been still lingering in for like a year now. So at least there's that,
We're encouraged with our fields though. Like we saw minimum flooding compared to what we saw pretty much everywhere else.
Yeah.
So we do know that we have done a lot better at getting the soil to stay where we put it, and really honestly just the beds looked really good and we were really happy with what it looked like. We had some down branches, but pretty much other than that everything was pretty good. Yeah. All the animals are closer to the house now, so that makes things a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, we woke up to like waterfront property that morning, but our cultivated area, like ours, is we put it in the spot we put it in because we've observed enough, before we were here long enough before we actually started cultivating that we knew don't put it on that side of the house because if we ever get a big rain, then it'll be underwater. So I don't think anything got damaged for us during that. We would have to get a lot of rain. We'd have to get like double what we got for our stuff to be, and that's unlikely. So
I am glad that wasn't snow, because that seemed like the predictions for that snow were going to be crazy.
Oh yeah. If it had been. Well, I mean, it was really warm that day. It was like in the 60s or something. So yeah, if it had been below freezing, though, that would have been a historic,
not a fun time.
Year snowstorm.
Especially with the cold temperatures that came after that. Like it would have been a lingering, terrible time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I will accept a minimum of snow. I'll accept a few inches of snow, which is like that's a pretty big snow for down here on average.
Right,
that would be fine. I just like. Winter, I'm so sleepy all the time. And I just get so tired of it being so gray and, muddy all the time.
And muddy, that's what I'm not necessarily looking forward to with this if it does snow really good.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean officially in the thick of winter now.
Yep.
So that's good.
And then it'll just keep getting lighter, which is good too.
Yeah. Yes, I will start to have a little bit more energy here, in the coming weeks, in theory.
You and Graham.
Yeah, yes. So, what are your Christmas plans this year?
Well, we're having prime rib, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
That's my next, getting prepped for that.
Yeah.
Pretty much Christmas, all presents and things.
Do your folks come over for
Christmas Eve?
Okay, for Christmas Eve.
And we typically just have like whatever for dinner, but this year we'll have prime rib because it'll be our first year that we had beef.
With prime rib.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we'll have that and it'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah. But I'm pretty much done wrapping things, which is insane because usually I'm a procrastinator with that.
I just like impulse finally decided what I was going to buy for Matt like a day and a half ago. And so it is not here yet. So we will see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it should get here tomorrow. But,
we have quite a few things that are still en route that have not been wrapped. But other than that, we're in pretty good shape. I have one thing of tape left, so that's a little 0 bows. So
I was trying to make my own bows out of ribbon the other day as I was wrapping stuff, and I was like, I know I used to know how to do this. Why am I? It'll look so pretty. I had this nice ribbon, and then I just made an absolutely hatchet job of it. I was like, fuck it, not getting bows. Never mind. I'm such a lazy rapper.
I have
I'm
6
awful.
spools of ribbon, pretty ribbon that I could totally make bows out of. And I'm like, I think I'll go to the dollar store.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt does such a nice job at rapping, and I don't know what it is. Usually, I mean, he's just generally a more meticulous person than I am. Friday, give it a rest. But I'll rap something, and it's just it's a mess. It's like whatever. It's meant to be torn apart, you know. Yeah. I don't know. It's for being the one who's the artist in the relationship and very aesthetically concerned with things for whatever reason. I'm just I get no effort on my rapping, and when I try to put forth effort, it just ends up looking horrible. So
I have a whole kit of all the wrapping stuff with lots of different decorative tapes and all kinds of stuff, and then I look under the tree and there's definitely blue packing tape that was used, painters.
Nice.
Painter's tape. Now I'm not.
It's a vibe.
It's working as it is tape, and I guess it was in there, but it was just some decorative washi tape being used in
that's
little
at least
pieces.
Technically decorative. I would say the blue painter's tape. I mean, that's a choice for sure.
You would typically use a tone on tone, or something that matches that paper. But I mean, whatever, it's fine. They're all wrapped and under the tree. I can't. You're right. 15 and 13 are pretty awesome, I have to say.
Yeah.
Right. Davis took his money and went to the Dollar General and bought Amazon gift cards, and then set himself up an Amazon account to purchase presents with his gift cards.
So he could do it on the DL.
So he could send them to the house without anybody knowing.
Aw, that's sweet.
Yeah. Right. So, right. Yeah. 13 and 15 are pretty awesome.
Yeah. Plus that's a fun age to buy presents for too, because they're whole ass people at this point, that have interests, but they don't have enough money to be buying stuff for themselves all the time.
Can just look at awesome stuff and be like, man, I wish I had that.
Yeah.
And then you can get it for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And now that we're 40-ish, it's so much harder to buy presents. Just I don't know, man.
I don't really.
I can't even tell a person what I want for Christmas. I'm I don't know. I don't keep a list of things that I want. I mean, part of that is also just I have very little disposable income, so I most of the time, if it's I think of something that I was oh, that would be nice to have, and then I let that thought immediately leave my head because it's well, too bad. You can't.
Too bad, so sad.
Yeah. And I just don't even keep a list or anything. So I'm miserable to buy presents for. I mean, Matt is, difficult to buy presents for just because he's similar to me. And, also Christmas is not the only time of year that we'll gift stuff for each other throughout the year. It's just oh, you said you wanted this, I had a successful week at the farmer's market or whatever, so I went ahead and bought it. So I don't save a list for anybody. Right. So I'm terrible. I mean, my gift to everybody is just would you like some food? As with everything in my life, my gift is always, would you like some food?
Well, that's what I kind of went with the last few years, really with family members, not necessarily Liam and Davis, but everybody else, food items or things that they can eat. Plus, I am a farmer, so we have lots of food. So I feel it's a good gift because it's useful because everybody likes to eat.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel bad about it. I really like having things for people to open. So, I just love the experience of being able to give things to people and see them open it. And, I like giving a good gift. But like this year I made so many jams and pickles and like I
Right.
have all this stuff that it's like, yeah, I'm never in a million years going to eat all of this myself. So it's just like anybody that I wanted to give a gift to, it's just like you get a whole selection of every different type of pickle that I made, every different type of, like the better part of a dozen jams that I made. So
I did so
and
many
I wrapped them all
jalapenos.
individually. So it's like at least I will still get the, experience of getting to watch
They
people
still have things to
open
unwrap.
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be fun. It'll be a much more low key Christmas for us this year because my sister and her family are staying up in New York, and which is nice. Like they've never had their own Christmas,
Right?
Just their nuclear family before, and
so it'll be nice for them to have that.
Yeah, and even the midpoint between us is Friday. Stop. We're not doing this. Okay.
It's like you're Kevin. Are you Kevin? I should have brought Kevin.
Oh yeah, that would have been great. But the midpoint between like my sister and us is in Hanover with Dad. It's still like a 7-hour trip or a 6-hour trip for Beth. So so it's nice, and of course because they live in Western New York, big weather is always a concern. Like they're in lake effect snow territory. Yep. So, they can just get like 3 feet of snow on a moment's notice with basically like no warning. Right. So like a day, maybe warning. So I'm really happy for them that they're going to get to have their own little low key Christmas at home up there. And then it'll just be us and Dad, up in Hanover. So I have to like really rein it in with my cooking. Because every time I cook, it's like I'm cooking for a dozen people, even if there are not a dozen people here. There's only going to be 3 of us, and I still do want to do a whole bunch of cooking, but I really need to work on my scale.
Well, and I always go crazy, and I have like 3, I think, like whole like Thanksgiving dinners like in the freezer from Thanksgiving, right? Like
we just ate off of that for almost a week, because I have made so much.
I made a bunch of different things too with it, but we just had so much food.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, well, we could do a pork roast too. He's like, how many roasts do we need? I'm like,
all of them. I need at least 3 roasts for my Christmas dinner. Obviously.
What if everybody likes it and needs more?
Yeah. I decided I'm going to do a venison Wellington for us, which is going to be good.
Yeah.
So which I did like 1 year because we do not have we never established a solid, this is what we make for Christmas meal, sort of thing. The closest we ever came was when we were still like my family's church that I grew up in, has gone kind of downhill. Like membership is really down. Like the old pastor that we grew up with, who's a family friend, like retired, and since then it's just kind of been, so but we would go to the Christmas Eve service, which was nice. It was like candlelight service, and carols and stuff, and it was always like a nice thing. But that's like Christmas Eve, and that service started at like 8 or something. It's later in the evening. So, but everybody would be rushing around the house. Like most of the time, like my sister and I, would get into Hanover at, sometime in the afternoon, and then everybody would be rushing around, like trying to get ready for Christmas Eve service. And so my mom would just get like a Stouffer's lasagna or something. And like, that was it. 'Cause, again, my mom, not a cook, was not much of a cook. So, that was all we did. So now, like for Christmas Eve dinner, I will make like proper good lasagna. Oh no, we're not even big lasagna fans, but it's like, that's kind of what we did. And it's, it's easy. And I mean, I'm still going to make it very involved, obviously, because why wouldn't I? I'm going to
delicious.
Yeah, I'm going to make my own pasta and, everything. So it'll be good. And bringing up all of the tomatoes and garlic and herbs and stuff from the garden, obviously. So that'll be Christmas Eve. But like Christmas dinner, like Christmas Day dinner, we don't have any solid traditions for, really. It was just kind of like whatever people are feeling. I mean, it's like a nice, meal usually, but there weren't any like real requirements outside of there must be pumpkin pie. Because my dad is like a big pumpkin pie guy, so gotta
we pretty much do just a Christmas Eve thing, and then nothing really on Christmas, just because Christmas is just us and the kids. And typically, I mean, we have things to play with or stuff to do. You know what I mean? Like we're busy on Christmas because we've opened all of these things that we now need to know how to use.
Yeah, you got to read all the manuals for everything and
putting
get things set
together.
Up and assemble things.
Exactly. So we typically have a pretty busy Christmas just because of that, which I'm not sure what we're going to do this year because some things are pre-assembled.
Yeah.
And ready to go.
Yeah.
But other things are not and might need time without anybody watching them so that they can play around with them.
Right.
Before the whole family judges them. Boom roasted.
Yeah.
But we have awesome, like we know that, obviously John and I know we have awesome Christmas lined up. So
nice.
Hopefully the kids, have a good time. But they will.
I'm sure they will.
I mean, like, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
We have no doubt.
Yeah. I don't know everything that you got them, but I have a solid feeling, on a few things. So they're gonna be stoked. So
right. And I like almost everything can be used like that day. We can just be like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be awesome.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our Christmas will be very food focused, because it's me and, my retired dad. And so it's going to be like very chill. The presents part of things.
Right.
Very, very chill. I'm going to make cinnamon rolls for breakfast for that morning. And then after we do, what few presents we have, then it's just going to be like back to food stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to be grinding up some of the venison that he has that isn't processed yet. I think we might spend the day making sausages.
If you want a jowl bacon to bring him for Christmas, that would be a good Christmas present for him.
Yeah, I mean, well, you already gave me bacon.
I'm just saying for him, though, then he can make his own deliciousness. Because that's, I'm going to give my dad one of those as well. So
yeah, well, I still have like a ton of the pork fat that you, like just the leaf fat that you gave me. So I'm gonna take that up for processing for, making sausages and stuff.
It's good.
So, yeah, it works really well.
Like I've heard it's really good, but it's just something about that.
Yeah. Well, the jowl bacon is really good, but
and smoked and cured, obviously it's got the delicious flavor.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see what we get into. But yeah, it's gonna be a primarily like cooking and eating and food and and then I think we're gonna be helping Dad rearrange some furniture as well.
Nice.
Because there's this whole debate about I don't remember if I told you that he got engaged to the lady that he has been seeing since springtime, which is very exciting. I'm very happy for him. He's very happy. Barbara is lovely. So Friday. Why are you so barky today?
What do you even see? There's nothing.
So there's this whole debate about if they're gonna stay in Dad's house, which is not, I mean, it's a beautiful property. It's on like 5 acres of completely like wooded property in the hills and stuff. And it's just, it's a nice property, but it's also the house that he built with Mom, and so there's this negotiation happening about like, is Barbara, comfortable there or whatever. So we've been doing a lot of, tidying up and I've been trying to, push him in the direction of, because building a new house, even though like, because he had sent some plans that he was interested in to a construction firm up there, and the estimate was, I mean, it wasn't like unreasonable considering the price of new construction.
It's the price of everything.
It was really high.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, well, yeah, you could buy, you could have this, home built. It's a pretty modest home and it's good, it would be good for, you could live there for the rest of your life. There's not like a bunch of stairs and stuff. Like the problem with the house that he's in right now is that it is like, it's a lot of upkeep and being in the woods. There's like gutters and stuff to deal with, getting clogged up with leaves, but it's, it's a place that he's comfortable, that he's been, for 40 years now. So, and if they, if they decide to like sell off the place, and then build this other place, like he's probably gonna have to like take out some loans, and then it's just like gonna kind of wipe out, not totally, like he'll still be able to be comfortable, but like a lot less comfortable with his savings and stuff now. It's like, well, or you could spend, $50,000 and just like have the whole house like repainted or wallpapered, and, redo the kitchen, and Matt and I would be totally happy to help with that, because we have like already like rehabbed and done, sort of multiple spaces before. So we'll see. He was just having the house assessed this week or last week, I guess, and he should be getting the number back on that. And then, so we'll be discussing a lot of that kind of stuff. And like I said, rearranging some furniture and, seeing if we can make the space feel kind of like a new, different, more comfortable space for Barbara's sake, or just to like help them, imagine. It's so hard when you've been in a space for, I mean, even if I've been in this, house for 6 years or whatever, and it's hard for me to even reimagine, a room here. Yeah. He's been there for 40 plus years, I think, at this point. So it's like really hard to reimagine see a space as anything other than what you're used to it being. So it'll be interesting to go up and do that this Christmas. You've been here too.
6 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we moved down in 2017, I think.
Crazy.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, it was initially supposed to be like temporary, layover, and then like go move out to California or something, and then we're just like, oh, it's been like 6 years.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we closed. I'm pretty sure we closed October 2017.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, we got here just a couple of months before you got to your space. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, Christmas will be fun. I'm looking forward to it. We're leaving on Saturday.
Yeah.
We still have to go see the lights down in Ocean City before we leave, though. We haven't done that this year.
I was going to ask John if we could go see Christmas lights last night, but they had to go to the store. It's what it is, right, at Christmas.
I don't know if we'll end up trying to go tonight or tomorrow. I feel like Friday it might be a little bit more hectic down there.
We typically don't go to Ocean City. We just drive around here, around Salisbury, and then Morse Road, and then they have the walk-through ones, which are cool because they have like the creepy blow, or the
like the inflatable things, or what?
The plastic ones, like the called like trying to think of what it's called, but they're plastic, like old school, light up, creepy looking.
Oh, like those vintage ones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They have like so many of them. It's like they have a clown section sometimes, which I'm not a big,
where is this though? Because I kind of want to see the weird
Friendship
Christmas
Road
lights.
has on either side. There's I don't know if Morris Road is doing it, but on Friendship Road, I believe. You'll see it.
Because we did.
You'll see it.
Last year was the first year that we were like, let's go see some Christmas lights. And we went down to the, Northside Park or whatever in Ocean City and did that one. And it was honestly kind of delightful because like all of the Mid-Atlantic, I mean, Ocean City is trash, right?
You have to pay for that one though, right? Like
I can't remember if it was, it may have been like $5 or something. It was very inexpensive. But I mean, I grew up coming down to Ocean City, all the time because grandparents lived here and, we came down a lot, so I do have a real soft spot in my heart for like the Mid-Atlantic trash of Ocean City. I find it
I'm
very
a big fan
charming.
of Ocean City. I like to sit and eat my ice cream and watch people in Ocean City.
It's so good people watching, man. Like our beach is Assateague because I like to go down to Assateague. I like to see the nature. I also like the beach is a little bit more chill and there's dogs there. So, when we go down there, it's like get in the ocean, sit there, have a pretty chill time, go on a walk and meet all of the dogs on the beach. Like that's
when we go to the beach, when we used to go to the beach.
Yeah.
We would go to any beach that was not very populated. Yeah. So anywhere other than Ocean City.
But Ocean City, you know,
but the boardwalk.
A couple times a year it's just like
different.
I do want to go down and like because it's just so dense and such good people watching,
Yeah,
and you get to see
you
get to hear all of the like wild Baltimore and Philadelphia accents and stuff, and I just like it delights me.
How would we ever be influenced by these people if we don't put ourselves in situations that we could meet them or see them? Right? Like, so we have to go down there to see.
Yeah, and like
what's
the
happening
is fun. You know, every like usually my sister and my niece and brother-in-law will come down in the summertime and we'll go do like the boardwalk thing.
Yep.
Last time they came down, we did the old haunted house ride. Actually, Tag did not want to go on it, but my sister and I were like that was hallmark staple of our childhood, you know, on the boardwalk down there. And it's awesome because it is like one of the oldest remaining like dark rides like that in the United States. And it was designed by like a really famous guy who did that. And it's great. I had such a hoot. I hadn't done it in like 20 years and I love it. I love a vintage weird dark ride, and they really
never been able to force my children to go on that ride.
Are you
and
serious?
It's such a sad thing to me because
no, we gotta get that happening, man. We gotta. I know this year we were like, let's do the beach, let's do a beach day together sometime, and that never happened because this year was chaos. But like next summer, we absolutely need to make that happen.
And they'll do it now. Yeah. But like it was like years ago, and it was like even the mirror maze, like tears, like because they were little, and I get it, but it was like after that I couldn't be like, okay guys, you just had a terrible time in the mirror maze, let's go
do
to
the haunted
scary
house
one,
which definitely does, like they have people like creeping around in there, like
but John's not a ride guy.
Well, then
John never was like, he never had that growing up. So for me, I'm like, oh well, you don't know how fun it is until you go on it. It's not as scary as you think it is.
No,
or
it's not
as
like
whatever,
terrifying. It's
but it
just
doesn't
like,
matter. And I can't So I want to do Busch Gardens with John and the boys because I want.
Was that your amusement park growing up?
Understand.
Because you moved around, I guess. Like, I was in one.
I like Six Flags. I like Six Flags. But I moved around a lot, so I got to go to like Universal.
Oh yeah.
And I got, you know what I mean? Like, so I've been to lots of different places, but not because my family went. Because I can't say that because it worked out, right? Like a band field trip to Six Flags or whatever. My family and we didn't really do a lot of that, but we did like go to Ocean City and ride the rides sometimes, but like Trimpers rides. Yeah. Not rides. The other rides, right? Not Trimmer rides. Yeah. So little kid rides. Yeah. But then, like little like roller coasters. Like I remember being a teenager and getting scared to not go on a roller coaster at like a school event, and then like actually going on a roller coaster and being like, oh my God, this is so much fun. Yeah. I had no idea, but like, I love it. But it was like, because I had never done it, I had that apprehension, but then once I went on one, then it wasn't so bad. Yeah. So I always feel like I have to push the kids to do something because that's how I felt as a child. Like if it was something that I was like, not sheltered, but like, I had no idea about a roller coaster. It is scary.
Yeah, I was I have always been like a little like daredevil since I grew up. Like many stories my mom shared with me about like when I was tiny little kid, just throwing myself into the deep end of the pool with no supervision, like just jumping off of things for funsies just to see what would happen. Like I was that kind of kid, the kind of kid that like gives their mother anxiety constantly.
Attacks. Yeah.
But my mom, so I grew up in central Pennsylvania. We had my first amusement park was a place called Dutch Wonderland.
I was gonna say, I was trying to think of what you guys had, what you have.
Which is like a little kid thing, but it was cool. And obviously, because it's Pennsylvania Dutch country, I have such fond memories of Dutch Wonderland. And it's just like such a weird little, like novelty, so regional, so tiny, there's like a fake cow that you can like pretend to milk there. It's wild. I love it. But after that, proper theme park was Hershey Park, because that wasn't far away from us, and we went to Hershey Park. I mean, not a lot, but like, I don't know, maybe like once a year or something, growing up, either with like a church group or, a school group thing.
I feel like that would be the one that maybe John had gone to before, maybe when he was still living in the city, because he is from Philly.
Yeah.
So like the city, Philly.
Yeah.
So he went to Catholic school with his sisters in the city until he was like 7.
Okay.
So he had like, aunts and uncles all in the city that I think maybe have taken him to places like that.
Yeah, Hershey Park wouldn't have been that far away from him. But I know
that he does not he does not do heights or rides.
My dad and my sister were not big fans of roller coasters growing up, but my mom really liked roller coasters. And so I was like little, I remember she took me on the first like upside down roller coaster, and there was like, it's like, I mean, for Hershey Park, it's like kind of one of the like smaller roller coasters, so there's not like a huge line. It's an old one.
Yeah.
I think it was called the Super Duper Looper, which I think my mom also just liked because she was always a fan of like alliteration and wordplay and stuff like that. It's just a fun name to say. But the first time I went on it, I really wanted to start riding like the big kid rides or whatever, and I was like a tall kid, so I was able to do that at much younger age,
right?
Than like your average kid, because I was like, we're all
up there
bean poles in our young age in our family. So we rode it, and I was just like, it blew my mind. I had such a fun time. We ran back around to the entrance, and we did that like 5 times in a row. It was great because there was no line, and my little probably 8-year-old heart just like exploded. Had such a fun time.
Yep. Mine was like a school trip, like with band or something where just peer pressure. Come on, just get on the ride. It'll be fun. And then it is fun. So
peer pressure, it can suck, but it can also be really good for getting you out of your comfort zone sometimes.
But if you've only been on Trimper rides your whole life, right? Like, and you go to a place that's, wow, that's so much taller than the, you know, what, Fairy Whip. Fairy Whip is that one that goes around. Like,
yeah.
But I definitely like the excitement of like the adrenaline of waiting in line, and then it really is over.
It's over in a minute, 90 seconds.
Yeah.
And you're done.
I don't like waiting in line, like if it's super busy or whatever. Like, so there's certain days that I would want to go versus the other. But John's work was giving away the ones for the winter time.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Because then it's not too hot.
Yeah.
The lines can't be that big.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm trying to think what other amusement parks I went to. I think we went to Busch Gardens once because we did do like a trip down to, I think we did Busch Gardens, and then we did like Colonial Williamsburg in the same trip because they're not that far away. And that was good. I mean, because there's some good roller coasters there. Like Hershey Park was fun, but at the time that I was going, at least, like there weren't too many. I think there was like one big roller coaster. I think it was the Sidewinder. And even that was kind of mild by comparison. The national like high level roller coasters were not present at Hershey Park. And then I went out to what's that one in Ohio? Cedar Point. I think I went there one time as well, but like in adulthood. And it was a really windy day, and so they shut all of the good roller coasters down. So I couldn't even ride any of the good ones, which was a bummer. But it's been a minute since I've been to, that may have been the last time that I was at like a proper amusement park. They're so expensive now, though.
I would say,
so expensive.
I definitely wanted to win tickets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like gifted tickets, as opposed to. But I went to Knott's Berry Farm.
Oh yeah. I've never done any of the West Coast ones because I've never spent any time out there.
Well, so for my senior trip, when we lived in Hawaii, we flew to California.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Which was awesome. We did whitewater rafting. We went to Knott's Berry Farm. We went to either, I don't know which one it is.
What? Either like Universal
California.
California Wild Adventure.
Something.
Yeah, California something Adventure.
Or the Disney, which was the Disney Land.
Yes, Disneyland, because Disney World is down in Florida.
Okay.
I've been to Disney World.
So I went to Disneyland, and I definitely, as a fan of Disney, I guess, of my childhood, after going to Disney, I decided that I would never take my children to Disney. Not because I hate Disney or anything, but I could easily just take them to Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like if you're not into, you know, the whole like theme of Disney, like if you want rides, like that I would say like not so much.
But could I not see a character on the beach in Ocean City on the boardwalk?
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah.
Right? SpongeBob is right there.
Yeah.
So I don't need to see Belle.
There's a Rock and Dark ride on the Ocean City boardwalk too. So
sorry, but it's free at the boardwalk. So we'll just go to the boardwalk and send kids.
Yeah. Yeah, we went down to Disney World twice when I was growing up. One when I was like pretty young, I want to say like in the 7-8 neighborhood, and then a couple years later. And I think the first trip was pretty good. I don't have a lot of recollection of it. I do remember like being very put off by like the characters and stuff. I never really liked that. I have a friend who's like seriously has like a phobia of mascots. It wasn't like that level for me, but I was also like, you know, I have the same attitude towards clowns. Like as a kid, you know, it was just like, what is this adult person in this big like dress up situation, and how do I feel about this feels weird in like a very meta way. I just didn't like it. I was just like, I know that this is not Mickey Mouse. Like I know that there is a guy in there, and I feel weird about that as a kid.
Everything about it was too much.
Yeah,
like it was just so much things, like so like you know, like just unnecessary.
Yeah,
and I felt that as a teenager, which is crazy because I never really like. It's not like I like was against anything then, really.
Yeah,
I was just like,
but I have a feeling that you
something that I would want my kids to necessarily have to do or go to.
Yeah, I think I was like cynical as a child, just by virtue of the family upbringing that I had.
Yeah,
I think I've always been just a little cynical. And it was just like never, not for me. The like the second time we went down to Florida and went to Disney. My sister is 3 years older than me, and she was like firmly like a early teen at that point. And she and my dad got into like a huge like, because of course, you know, like when you're on a family trip and it's expensive, and you know you're driving all the way down to Florida from Pennsylvania, and it's like, oh, we spent all this money and this time to go on this family trip. It's so fraught with emotion, you know, because it's like everybody feels this pressure to like make it a good time, you know. Which is too much. Like that's another unpleasant part of the whole situation. It's just like everybody is putting so much pressure on themselves to like, you know, make it magical or whatever, that eventually that just like tips over, especially when there's like a teen in the mix.
Yeah.
You know? And I remember, my sister and dad got into like a screaming match in the middle of Disney, and popcorn was being thrown at each other, and my mom and I are just kind of like watching this transpire, and you know, it was not a great time for anybody.
No.
And then, but after we went to Disney, then we went down to the Everglades, and that was great because my family was like very much like a camping, let's go be out in nature. This is the best times that we had on family vacations were that kind of thing.
Right.
Not the curated Disney kind of.
And that's the kind of things is like I want my kids to not value that as highly as the kids that I saw on those days. You know what I mean? It was just like, right? Like, and you know, nothing against you know, leashed children, but
sometimes
the amount
you just gotta leash them, I guess.
amount of leashed children, and you're just like, I know, this is not what I really see my kids doing.
Yeah.
Lives.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't think that they're any worse for the wear. And I had no idea, obviously, that I was going to be a farmer later on in life.
Yeah.
And choose that for my children, which is so much better than Disneyland.
Yeah.
Or World.
Yeah. Friday has some really strong opinions today. I don't know what's going on. Just sitting over there grumbling to herself.
Having a hard time today, huh?
I'm so sorry, Friday. Ooh. Life's hard for this dog. So,
but I would like my kids to do some roller coasters just so they can pass their own judgment and see if they do appreciate the feeling of a circle, right? Like a loop-de-loop
circle.
The loop-de-loop, right? Like that's the one that was
to have your children get the feeling of a circle.
That loop-de-loop feeling is like something that you don't get anywhere else. Like there's no other.
Just the feeling in your body.
The weightlessness of a loop-de-loop.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's super.
And it's super fun to ride a old wooden flat one too.
Yeah.
That looks like it's gonna fall apart.
And feels like it's going to fall apart while you're riding it too.
And you're like, did I just see a screw? I think I just saw a screw fall out.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something very very satisfying about feeling in your body like you are taking your life into your
fear.
hands.
It's the fear.
Yeah.
See, that's why I don't think I could convince John. It's like I would never be able to say those things, right? He'd be like, I'm not getting on that then.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's fun to feel like you might die.
But this one goes in reverse.
Yeah.
But then it goes in reverse.
Yeah. Yeah, so out in Pittsburgh, the amusement park out there is Kennywood, because Matt and I met in Pittsburgh. He's from the Pittsburgh area. Kennywood is great. I mean, it's a super old amusement park, and so there are some super old rides out there. Like I feel like everything I ever went on at Kennywood felt like this is gonna fly apart while I'm on it. Like there's some old ass wooden roller coasters there that like really put the fear in you a little bit. But they have some, well, I feel like now, like unlike the dark ride haunted house down at the boardwalk here, which is pretty much untouched, like they haven't like redone it, and so like it
Why
is
would they
no I mean, and they shouldn't. Like it is great. It is like preserved in its like original state by and large. The dark rides at Kennywood, they decided to like have redone on a number of occasions. And now they're super lame because for whatever reason they decided to like take one of the original dark rides and be like, we're gonna make it into a Garfield thing, and it's like all like neon paints and stuff inside, and it's Garfield themed, and it's just like, why did you do this?
I mean,
why
I
did you
not
keep
hate Garfield? He does love lasagna, but
I mean, but it doesn't have the charm of a vintage dark ride anymore. Like it's a dark ride, but it immediately feels dated too, because like Garfield, really? And not dated in the cool vintage kind of way, but dated in the sense that like some executive made a poor choice and thought like this will be what the kids like. Just like, no. The dark ride at Kennywood is not for kids anyway. It's for high adults to go to at like around Halloween time. That's what the dark rides are for.
Right.
Is for stoned adults. Like, how do you not know this?
And for scaring children.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's neither scary nor fun to be high during anymore. They're just really taking the magic away. It's unfortunate.
Ruiners.
But I still have a fondness for Kennywood too. It does have like a very particular, like kind of old school theme park vibe to it, which is nice. So, and Halloween out there was fun.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, man. Now I want to go to a amusement
I just
park.
feel like isn't Six Flags and Busch Gardens, aren't they the closest ones to Earth?
Down here, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even Hershey Park would be like a solid 4.5 hour drive from down here probably. So yeah, I don't know. How far away is Busch Gardens from here? I've never been. So
I have to look it up.
Yeah.
Like honestly, probably since I was a kid, like because I I mean, I moved around a lot, but there was a time that I lived in Virginia and there was a time that I lived in Maryland. So I was around this area, but not necessarily at my time of going to theme parks.
When did you finally kind of like land down here on the shore and kind of stick?
So I graduated high school, and then I went 1 year of college in Hawaii, and then I transferred to SU, I guess 2002.
Okay.
So, and then, I mean, John and I got married in 2006. So
okay, yeah. So I've been down here for a little over 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we're like old.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I'm officially like middle-aged at this point.
Yeah. But it's cool that we, like we have a house. Like we have the place that we're going to be, which is cool. You know what I mean? Like, because honestly, like when John and I were first together, we had, bought the house in Salisbury, but that wasn't necessarily like the house that we were going to be. So we've, we're old, but we're good. Like we're established.
Yeah.
We have roots.
Yeah.
For being
and that's
old.
why I think like we ended up sticking down here is because like I never growing up I liked coming down here because it's like the beach and this was where my grandparents were, but I didn't really have a deep fondness for the area besides beach and grandparents, actually really kind of disliked it growing up. And so I never imagined myself like landing down here. That was not something that I saw as being in the cards for me. And then, after taking the scenic route, through life and moving around and spending time in different cities, and then eventually just burning out on being in like Pittsburgh and then Detroit, which I still love and miss, in some ways. But I realized at a certain point, I was like, I'm not a city person. I deeply, deeply miss being able to see the stars, like that really, it seems like such a small thing, but it really bummed me out after a while. And just like having neighbors and not being able to like hunt. And I mean, in Detroit, we had like a fabulous garden, but it was still, in the middle of a city.
Right.
And so, just burned out on that. And then moved down here, just like I said, for a temporary little like breather until we figured out what we were going to do. And then I kind of realized like, oh, well, but my family has been on this property for hundreds of years. Right. And, maybe this is actually the right thing. And, I do have roots down here, and the longer I stay, the more I kind of like the area, and I like what's going on with like a lot of small farmers and, things happening in our immediate area, which is not something that I realized was happening and didn't even, hope for in the area, honestly, until I started doing that myself this year and started realizing like how many other people like in our age range specifically, are like, hey, let's do small farming,
we should have a homestead.
Yeah, and I love it. And it's not like people LARPing at it either, it is people authentically
we're all
doing
very well at it. Like
yeah,
which is it's just crazy. Like it's our age group. We are
it's all like late 30s, early 40s, like fuck it, let's homestead then.
Let's just do our own thing.
Yeah.
This is getting crazy.
Yeah, society is falling apart at the seams.
Wow, I don't like what's happening.
Yeah, let's all figure out how to raise animals.
Do our own thing.
Yeah.
We'll just have our own thing going on.
Yeah. And
we'll trade amongst ourselves.
And I mean, I don't know that there's any better way to community organize in the state that we are in, beyond what we're doing. We're doing great. We have a pretty solid little network of people who are genuinely like talented and self-sufficient in different ways, and are all happy to exchange with each other. It's awesome. I love it.
I definitely appreciate the amount of people that are in the same boat or in the same position.
Yeah, and I truly did not expect that. I did not expect to find that happening down here. But also because I was coming from this like having lived in city bias, where there's a lot of people who talk about like wanting to kind of do stuff, and they're they're not even LARPing, they're just like lying to themselves that they know how to do anything or have the ability to do anything or whatever. And I mean, granted, like if you're in a city, it is very difficult to like homestead, of course, like it's very difficult to, have any real world practical skills when you just have an office job in an apartment, like, and that's not to slam on people because I have been that person, like I was that person for a while. And then eventually I realized that but I actually do want to, have some hands-on stuff going on in my life. I want to grow my own food. I want to be able to hunt, like I want to be integrated with those kind of
self-sufficiency is awesome.
Yeah, it's very, very rewarding. It is not profitable, but it is very rewarding.
Right? Yeah.
But I mean, I'm trying to move away from thinking that the only thing that makes things worthwhile is them being profitable, because there's other ways to be profitable. There's a lot of metrics for success and and happiness and profit in life, and
most definitely
money is the one that society kind of uses to say like, hey, you're doing well and we appreciate it, but it's like, yeah, but growing your own food is something
but I am
that,
so rich in hams.
So rich in hams. So rich in meats. Which, if our ancestors, could look at what we were,
they would be like, that's awesome, Amanda.
You are
did a great
the wealthiest person I've ever met in my life. Yeah. So I checked my voicemail and my dad got the appraisal back on the house, but he did not tell me what the number was. So
I'll
have to save for later. Yeah.
Cliffhanger.
I know. So I'll have to call him when we're done here and see. So interesting to see what that will be. I mean, because Matt and I are like, well, just hire us to redo your kitchen,
right?
Because he was like, man, kitchen, you can spend like $30,000-$40,000 on a contractor to redo your kitchen. I'm like, Dad, we have redone kitchens before.
I would say, especially if you're going nowadays too.
Yeah, I was like, if you're going to spend $30,000 or $40,000 on a new kitchen, you could give us honestly less than that,
right?
And we would do a better job. Because we actually have some aesthetic, capabilities beyond what like your average contractor does. And we could fully redo your kitchen for you and consult with you on the design process and everything. You don't have to do anything. We need money. So, and we have these skills. So
and then you don't have to pay for all the other extra stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, we could do that. So I don't know. We'll see. I kind of doubt that that's going to happen, but you never know.
It's it's good to throw it out there. Though.
Yeah, exactly.
I can help you.
You got to make yourself available,
right? So. Like I can help you right now.
Yeah. So I'm like genuinely looking forward to like rearranging furniture. I love rearranging furniture.
Well, it's fun,
like such a dumb thing to like, but I love how much you can transform the way a room functions and feels and looks. Just by like moving some furniture around. Right. It's so gratifying. When I was a kid, I used to rearrange the furniture in my bedroom like quarterly. I feel like I
recently have been constantly moving things around. I mean, obviously now that we have the Christmas tree, I had to rearrange things again.
Yeah.
But I've been clearing things out, trying to pare down to my bare necessity weirdness things. And it's been really awesome.
Well, yeah, you gotta make room for all those California raisins.
Right. I gotta make room for all of them. I think the pickles are gonna stay out year round.
Nice. Yeah, they don't have to be just for Christmas. Friday.
They just look really good in the placement that I have them, and I don't think I could ever take them out. It's perfect. You can barely see that little hook that is holding it, so it just looks great. And the sun goes right through them. So like it's awesome.
Nice.
And it also is my air plant holder that I killed.
Yeah, I have an air plant that I probably need to
I
need to like soak it or mist it or something. I can't imagine I have it. I mean, I know I haven't killed it yet, but God knows it hasn't been for lack of trying.
Well, I think the pickles look way better in there than the dead air plant.
Yeah.
I was like, we'll just take you out.
Yeah. Replace you with something that I cannot kill.
But really, I mean, an air plant is supposed
I could make you a little glass air plant.
Oh, yes. That would never die.
Yeah.
Yes.
I could do that. I mean, I know I'm
just not great at indoor
I've seen
plants.
other people who make like nice little like glass succulents and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll make you a glass air plant one of these days.
It's just the wood stove. I think it just gets too hot in the living room.
Well,
and I just
they
have
need
to keep
humidity
up with the
too. And like it's so dry in our house because we have a wood pellet stove. And we have like multiple humidifiers upstairs just so like we don't dry. Right. So I don't wither and die like your air plant.
So I bought my mom a Christmas cactus, and there was a orange one. Ooh. I've never seen an orange one, right? Fancy. Just like pink or white or whatever. So I bought it for her before it had bloomed.
Yeah.
But then I put it in my living room.
Did you kill it already?
All of the blooms fell off before she got them.
Oh.
Because it got so warm that it just went into.
It was just like, oh, it's summer now. It's summertime mode. Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
Oopsie,
I was like, oh no. And every time like you walk by, like a flower sort of just falling off.
Right.
Stop. You're on notice.
A menace to the pod today.
But yeah, so now she'll have to wait like an entire year.
Yeah.
Right? I guess.
Well, I don't know. Because my mom had a Christmas cactus, or a couple of them, and they would just bloom at the weirdest time. I never figured out exactly what was. So she's gonna have to keep it alive.
Yeah.
They would just start blooming sometimes. It's like Easter, and for some reason the Christmas cactus is blooming or whatever. Well, I don't fully understand house plants.
I sent my mom like a picture because there's several different versions. There's a Thanksgiving cactus, an Easter cactus, and a Christmas cactus. I didn't know that, but I don't even know what I had like before.
Yeah.
That I killed probably. Yeah. But I did buy Christmas cactuses. So now that I know that there's different ones, maybe I'll look into getting the other ones for the other holidays. But I just liked it because it was cool because it was orange.
Yeah.
And I was thinking for her new house.
Yeah.
But then she'd have to keep it alive too. So.
Are they still working on the new place, or because I think the last
they haven't done anything to it yet?
Okay.
They just finished flipping that one house, so that goes on the market this week. So hopefully they can get what they're asking for it, which no doubt it's in Ocean Pines, and they actually did a really good job. Like, I mean, it looks really, really nice. The HVAC is great. The rooms look great. Everything looks awesome. So it's a cute little house in Ocean Pines.
Nice.
Yeah. It makes us appreciative of our large windows and our large floor plan and our large everything at the house. Yeah. Because it is a small house.
Yeah.
With a neighbor right there. Right? Like, yeah. So it's like, yeah, we're glad to have the farm.
Yeah.
But it's going to be nice for anybody who buys it, if they buy it as a rental or if they buy it to live there.
Yeah.
But then they're done that, so now they can focus on the new house, which I keep sending her random cool furniture. I say cool furniture.
Does she agree?
No, not at all.
What's your definition of cool furniture? I like a mid-century modern kind of vibe because you can mix like Art Deco styles with a little bit of, kind of 60s. But that's because that's what we have to lean into here, because this whole house was redone and in the 60s. So
yeah, the things that I have sent her would never ever come anywhere close to this.
Yeah.
Like, there was a dolphin table.
Jesus.
Now I have this in my defense.
Please.
This is yourself. My dad's fishing house.
Okay.
Right, like this is, instead of them going to the Keys, they're gonna be able to vacation basically at this house.
Right.
So I see this as my dad's fishing house. Not that it has to be
but they're going to be there full time, right?
No.
Oh, they're not?
No.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like,
so where do they are splitting their time between there and what
Ocean Pines.
Ocean Pines. Yeah. Oh, so they still have another place in
so
they
live in Ocean Pines, and then they bought the Onancock house so that they can have, basically a vacation home that they can go to.
That's only like an hour drive away instead of
for Graham.
Yeah.
Basically. So they can take Graham there, and then they can like spend a week or so instead of having to, schlep her anywhere else because it's difficult.
Right.
Yeah, I just see this as my dad's like fishing house, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like terrible furniture, but it could be.
And a dolphin table qualifies as not terrible furniture.
He should, like, he's got a little bar area. It could kind of.
Is it like a coffee table?
Right on the water.
Describe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's what I had in mind.
It's one of those where it's like you could kind of get that to work if given the right circumstances. Not to mention it's on the water. He's going to be fishing. Like it's going to be a little bit more
I get how it ties in thematically, but I'm struggling to imagine what this dolphin table looks like. That's not like gone. Really.
I can't even think about it anymore. Okay. It's gone. So
not an option anymore.
It's already gone, Mom.
Some other lucky person snatched it up off a marketplace.
I'm looking up sofa couches and things because it would be a place where we would all be staying.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh look, this sofa couch free, but the problem would be that it's on the second floor. That's why that's free because they want you to move it down the stairs.
I mean, pull-out couches are so extra heavy and
it was
annoying
a queen.
too.
I was like, Mom, I think we can do it. She's like, no. Like, we know why they're giving it away for free. It looks good.
And it weighs 1 million pounds, and you need to take it down a flight of stairs also.
And it's like, in like Ocean City somewhere. So it's like the stairs are probably, pivoting probably won't work.
Yeah.
The stairs were put in after the couch.
Yeah. They built the house around the couch, actually. It might be a load-bearing couch. You don't even know. The whole place might just come crumbling down.
I get there and it's like a little old lady. I can't help you. So yeah, there's things like that I keep finding. But they haven't been down there a lot to even start thinking about furniture.
Yeah.
But I'm just addicted to Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I know.
For some
have
good
a
finds.
Problem.
Well, honestly, it's just so much stuff is so high priced.
Oh yeah.
Like at this point that there's almost no need to look at an actual store before just checking.
I mean, I agree. Like I like a deal, and I like that you can find, weird, unique stuff, on there. There's a part of me that kind of like envies that, you have the reason because I love looking at like weird old stuff, and I have no room in this house for anything else. I just truly do not. I brought some stuff back from Dad's place when we were cleaning up, and getting some of Mom's stuff, more organized. And even that, I brought like an box of a couple, some candle holders or some carnival glass and stuff, and even then I'm just like struggling to find places to put just like even a small box of stuff because this place is just
with kids
jam crammed with generations of stuff that
with kids and just adding more to the house and adding more things. There's constantly more stuff we need or things or something. Always
more California raisins.
Well, I mean that. I'm not even looking at those now. Liam is
now
those,
you've become the California raisins lady. Right, so now anytime any of your friends see any of them, you are going to become a repository for California raisins.
I'm cool with that. I'm glad that other people are seeking them out. I don't even have to do anything.
Yeah, they'll just come to you.
That's how I feel that my things in my house are. They just come to me. Like the universe provides them. And I just am at that time, at that same place with that thing. And then
the universe provides California raisins.
So if it works out, then it works out.
Yeah.
So like some stuff I just have to have because it was put right in front of me.
And you can't afford to say no.
Right? Wendy does an online auction. So next time she does that, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, maybe I'll let you in on that. And you can look at me. Yeah. Because she got some really awesome stuff.
Yeah.
And you just bid on it. And if you win, obviously, then you get the item. And it's not really that expensive.
Yeah.
It's just you might not win. So
it's like a local thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who does it? Like who's running it? Is it like an antique store or
it's in
like
Delmar.
Okay.
It's got a bunch of sheds in front of it. I can't remember.
I don't know.
What the name of it was.
You actually have like some 20 years of sort of inherent understanding of the area and knowing different like little businesses and stuff that I do not have. So
20 years. You think that though, but like John makes fun of me so much that I don't. Like you don't even know where that is, right? And I'm like, I don't know where that is because it's only 20 years. Like,
I know, like I know shockingly little about the area for being down here 6 years because the first 5 years that we were down here we were complete hermits and we're just working in the studio.
The excuse. Constantly. I don't have an excuse for not knowing where anything is. 20 years is a long time.
I feel like I have barely scratched the surface of this area,
which is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's more things going on in this little weird rural area than you realize there are.
Yes.
So yeah, and I don't know about any of them.
Right. So now,
I said,
now I live on a farm.
We haven't even like driven around to look at the Christmas lights in the area because like I don't even know, where the good places to go look at the lights are and drive around and see them. Like last year was the first year we went down to Ocean City and looked at them. Which was fun. I mean, that was fun, but I also like just driving around.
Yeah,
too,
I like looking at houses, oohing and on at houses.
I like snooping on houses.
Yeah. Well, we're extremely excited to have like the kids and like Graham in the new car because I have enough room for everybody to actually, see Christmas lights comfortably. Yeah. And I'm really excited to do that this year. I just have to figure out when.
I was going to say, better get on it. You've only got a couple more days before Christmas.
At least me and the kids and John can go. But we're still trying to figure out doing things with Graham. Mm-hmm. It's just proving way more difficult as of late now that she is a little more on the deep end. Yeah. Off the deep end.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully you can find a time this week to like scoop her up and do a little drive.
With more daylight, right?
Yeah, but it's Christmas lights. You want to see them in the dark.
Yeah, I know, so but maybe I'm just saying maybe it'll give her a little bit more pep in her step to have a little bit more daylight now after the solstice.
Yeah.
But no, she definitely is feeling the cold weather this week. I went and refilled her advent calendar again.
Yes, she ate all the chocolates out of her advent calendar, 3 times now?
This is the 3rd time. I left chocolates this time, though, so that we could,
you need to pick it.
There's only 1 week left. Yeah. Like, no, but I left the chocolates so that either mom or the caregiver could replace them. I can't let Graham just have them. She ate all of them last time.
Yeah.
So I left her an entire container. I got her chocolate, like a trail mix that had chocolate in it. Mm-hmm. Other chocolate snacks and like 3 other things that had chocolate in it. Everything is gone except the trail mix. Everything is gone, and she was a week ahead.
So it doesn't matter if you put them in the advent calendar or not. If she knows where the chocolates are, she's going to eat all of the chocolates. Yeah. So it's a nice thought that you're like, I'll only refill up the advent calendar.
And the second time she said that my kids were over and she didn't have anything to offer them, so she gave them chocolates. She let them have them. Mm-hmm. My kids were not
I was going to say, nice try, Graham.
But this time, I was like, what happened? You're supposed to eat 1 every day, Graham. 1 every day. What happened? I wanted to eat the chocolates. So this time there was no.
I mean, you can't argue with that. Like,
there was no.
I get it. Sometimes I also want to eat a pile of chocolate.
Just wanted to eat the chocolate. So it's fine. But I'm like, thanks for being honest, Graham.
You don't need to lie about it.
But I appreciate that you were honest.
You want to eat a pile of chocolates. It's cool.
So I left her more chocolates, obviously, and more different ones that she didn't see before. So it's nice. But she definitely is wanting to sit there and eat chocolates, which is fine.
Is she your last surviving grandparent at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm 0 on surviving grandparents at this point. My mom's parents had her when they were like 40, so they were like old.
Gotcha.
By the time I was around, they were already pretty old. Like my grandmother, my mom's mom died when she was in her mid to late 90s, but I was, in my early 20s at that point. So, and my dad's mom was the last one, and she passed away also in her 90s last year. So no more grandparents.
My great grandmother was at our wedding.
Oh, nice.
So I
did meet one of my, but when I was really, really young.
But she was like completely out of it. She had no idea what was going on, like wheelchair.
Yeah.
Like watched from above, like couldn't even be, but was there.
Yeah.
But Graham was watching her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So that's why, Graham is so important to me.
Yeah.
Because not only has she taken care of like all of the children for the entire family,
right.
Like her children, grandchildren, great grandchildren,
yeah,
and all different, ages as well.
Yeah.
She took care of all of the elderly in the family, in addition to her husband that was sick, so like I never met my grandfather, but he, had cancer and she took care of him. And then she took care of his mom, her mom.
Wow.
All at that house. And she had gotten a job after her husband passed to keep all the kids going.
Yeah.
Because she had 4 kids.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's a lot of life.
So she's done a lot of work for her, chocolates.
Absolutely. She has more than earned.
She has earned
sets of
so
Advent chocolates.
many chocolates in her life.
Yeah.
That I feel like if I'm anywhere close to or have to go anywhere close to her house, I have to drop by some chocolates or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but it's getting to an irony point, where it's like, oh, she's doing the things we're having to take care of her the way that she's had to take care of us, or,
Yeah.
But she is way healthier than most people at 87.
Yeah.
Like I can't stress that enough to like anyone who has talked to her for like 5 minutes, because she's batshit.
Yeah.
Because it's just it used to be you had 5 minutes or 10 minutes between the same question.
Right. And now it's pretty constant.
Sometimes it's 30 seconds, sometimes it's a minute, and it's like she is just trying to fill like the void.
Yeah.
But she can walk around.
Yeah.
And she can
like physically able.
She can feed herself, and she can see. And so there's so much stuff that's a positive, but she is there.
It's tough to watch somebody like
the
like
tough
mentally
part is
kind of leaving. Yeah. Yeah.
So but I used to take the kids down every Wednesday. So it was about two years ago, I think I stopped, or a year ago I stopped. Once we started having like the caregiver and more, she needed more help.
Yeah.
We would go down every Wednesday and we'd play cards or do something with Graham.
Yeah.
And it's rewarding now.
Yeah. Happy to have spent that time with her.
Because just looking back, like that was when she could actually talk to us and like knew who we were and actually talked to us, even though she didn't really know what was going on, or, you know, because it was also during COVID and
Which was really hard.
How was school, kids?
Yeah.
Well, we don't go to school. It's on a computer.
Yeah.
What? Right? It's just so hard.
It's a lot to try and wrap your brain around where you're already struggling with like sundowning. Yeah.
But just like in general, like just in general, you try to talk to any 80-year-old person about like going to school on a computer, like they couldn't get it. Like so there's just
Dude, I'm
that's
39 and you have told me stuff about the way the children's school works and I'm just like, wait, what?
That's what it was a game changer basically.
Yeah.
Having more time with Graham but not having her out in public and not really allowing her to learn or know about stuff about the world because of all of that. That was the downfall of Graham.
Yeah.
Because she couldn't recuperate after that.
Yeah, I mean, I know that
couldn't take her out in public after that.
Yeah, well, it was just that was really hard on, I think it was harder than a lot of people realize on, elderly folks, like the whole pandemic thing.
Yep.
Like Matt's grandmother, her husband passed away shortly before the pandemic, and then she was like, I mean, she was sharp, and really physically able for her age. She had like a recumbent bike and would do a lot of walking and stuff. And then, the last couple years of her husband's life, she was just, it was just caretaker mode. But then he passed away, and obviously that's tough because that's her life partner for 60 plus years, passes away. And then all of a sudden, everything that she's been spending her time on for, years leading up to that, just caretaking, that's gone. And then very shortly after that, the pandemic hit. And so now she can't go to church anymore, which is another very big part of her life.
Right.
She doesn't have her life partner that she's able to live with. Everybody, I mean, especially like early pandemic, like people were like, I can't see my family. Everybody was completely isolated in a way that is absolutely bonkers to me looking back on it now.
I did not follow that with my grandmother at all.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. I can tell you that right now.
Matt's parents were super paranoid about it, so she was very isolated.
Yeah.
And her mental state, just started precipitously going downhill.
Graham really only has us.
Of that. And then, eventually they were able to navigate it, and she's in an assisted living facility now, like an independent living, like she has like a condo essentially, at one of those places, and she's as sharp as she ever was. Like now that she's back into a situation where she's getting regular novel social interaction, and like is able to like have people take her out to run errands and stuff, and she's able to like get around and have new experiences and stuff. She's sharper than she was pre-pandemic. Yeah. She's sharper than she was, when her husband was dying. Like,
that's awesome.
She's really doing very, very well. But yeah, just being in that isolated situation where you're not getting novel experiences and having novel conversations and stuff is so bad for your brain. I mean, even for young people, but especially for the elderly,
We definitely, I mean, it was my mom and I, or mom basically taking care of Graham. So like, that didn't change. So like we would still go down and see her and stuff. So it was not like anything really changed really for us. It was more about like when other people came down to visit her. Yeah. We're like, hey, just like, you're good. Because it would really screw our lives up if something happened to Graham.
Yeah.
Like, just like do us a solid and make sure that you're good before you come visit Graham. But pretty much that was all we were asking, really.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and at a certain point it's just like, I mean, during pandemic times it was like, you have to do your own algebra, right? Like even when mom was dying, it was people were still like, wearing masks and stuff, and it was still like top of mind. And we got to a point where it was just like, yeah, we literally do not care. You could have like raging coronavirus, come over. Like, you need to see mom. Like, You're not going to kill her any more quickly at this point.
Right.
You know,
we definitely weren't going to thwart anyone going to see Grimm, but it was more about the fact, like, just make sure you're good, because it was not. It was just like, hey, it's a common courtesy. Just in general, though.
Well,
like,
that's the thing.
If you have a cold, why would you go see an elderly person anyway?
Yeah, that's the wild thing to me, is that, like, so much within, in the context of the pandemic, like, I have always agreed with, like, how the Japanese appear to, treat public health and stuff, which is like, if you feel sick, you don't go out, or at least you wear a mask so that you are not yakking sputum all over people.
Do not believe that the mask was doing a damn thing.
I mean,
I think that was
like
spreading.
A t-shirt. I think a gross t-shirt mask is doing, very, very little. I think, a medically approved mask is probably a better, sort of situation. But, like, if you're sneezing and stuff, it's like, yeah, I mean, covering your mouth when you sneeze is more effective than just, like,
people
letting it fly.
Use masks were 100% ineffective.
Oh, I saw.
So, like,
I was at Sam's Club at one point,
the person was doing it correctly.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Ever. So don't do it.
Yeah, then... just like public health, practice in the United States is like trash. And I mean,
you never even got to see my cool mask.
And part of that, there's a lot of factors in why that is, but I think generally, if we had a culture that actually valued public health, we would allow people to take time off from work. People would not be like, I can't make my rent payment unless I go to work. I am sick. I'm very sick. I shouldn't be going to work, but I actually have to. Or I might get fired if I call out, because that is a real issue for people, and it's like, well, we can't have both things. We can't have an economy that is like screwing people over so hard that they actually cannot afford to take off when they're sick, and have a good public health response. Like, you should be able to just say, like, I'm sick, I need to stay home, I don't want to get other people sick.
I have never taken off because I was sick, so I was never, I always just went to work, and
and that's if we actually,
and there's not even a time where I would, if I felt sick in the morning, I would be like, oh, I shouldn't go to work.
Yeah. Because we are wired first, in our culture, we are wired first to be like, I need to work at all costs. Like, I will literally be, the only thing that's going to keep me from going to work is if, like, I'm in the hospital or something.
Right.
Like,
now, I conveniently have been working on the farm. So, but I still then have to do open up the chickens and do things now. Yeah. Not recently, but still.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, at least if you're sick and you're forcing yourself to do farm work, you're not, compromising anybody else's health by doing that.
Exactly.
At least you're only hurting yourself.
My case is a little different as of the last few years.
If you're working in childcare or something,
but still, like, as a teacher, I'd go in and be sick as a teacher. I mean, I had,
and it's just frustrating and unfortunate to me that we live in a society where, like, that's everybody's first instinct is like, I can't afford to be sick, so I'm just gonna will myself to try
you still
to
have
not
stuff
be.
to do.
Yeah, instead of saying, like, I'm sick, I need to stay home so I don't get other people sick, and so I can get better more expediently on my own. Nope, that's not how we do things in this country.
No, we just keep going.
Yeah, we just keep going. We get ourselves sicker. We injure ourselves. We get other people around us sick. Like, it's a mess and a half. Love the way things are going for us here.
It's good stuff. As long as we eat kale, though, we'll be good.
Yeah, sure.
Kale,
just like
nice kale salad.
Yep, that's gonna keep everything.
Oh, and my fermented garlic. That's gonna.
Ooh, Matt and I have just been talking about how we need to get into more fermenting this year.
Oh,
because it's good for your gut biome.
Correct.
And he was like, well, we eat a lot of fermented foods. I was like, babe, do we? Like, what do we eat actually that's fermented? And he was like, cheese doesn't count. I was like, cheese doesn't count. No. I was like, we eat miso. We do eat a decent amount of miso. That's the only fermented food that we eat on a pretty regular basis. And I'm not sure how much good that's really doing it. So
kimchi,
I need to
we eat kimchi.
Yeah, I had a very old jar of kimchi just chilling in the back of the fridge for like years, and
so
I was never
good.
reaching for it, and
extra good kimchi.
Yeah, very
lots of stuff in it.
I eventually was just like, I'm not sure I trust this anymore because I actually don't know what the hell I'm doing with fermenting food, so I'm gonna start over. So that's one of my winter projects actually, is to start reading about, because I'm very sensitive to certain sour flavors, and I feel like a lot of the fermented foods that I have tried in my life have had this flavor profile that I'm not really super big fan of. So I need to start investigating fermented foods, and figuring out how to make them in a way that I will actually eat a lot of, because I want to. I haven't been able to. I haven't learned enough, and I haven't experimented enough with it, to figure out like what I can do with fermentation I'm really authentically going to enjoy, and not just feel like I'm doing a weird project and then keeping it in my fridge for years before I throw it out.
Yeah.
Because that's what I've done in the past.
We appreciate the flavor of kimchi, so we like that. We like that a lot.
Yeah, I definitely like kimchi in theory. I like it. And I mean, I've had plenty of kimchi.
We do sauerkraut too.
Sauerkraut I will occasionally eat, but I don't know. It doesn't really do anything for me. Once a year, certainly, because that's the New Year's Day meal. You do that too? It's pork.
Well, we have
pork and sauerkraut and mashed potatoes. It is a mandatory.
I have pork, sauerkraut, like in my head for family, everything for the holidays. So like Thanksgiving.
Oh, really?
I always have it like as a side, just have it.
Yeah.
And then I might do it also for Christmas.
Okay.
Because I still have 2 more gifts to prepare today. Ironic you wanted to get into fermentation.
Yeah.
Because that's what the kids and I are going to do later for John. A couple buckets of things for him to eat. So
we got you some food buckets, John. Merry Christmas.
Well, he was like, you should clear out some of the cabbage the walk-in. I was like, will do.
Nice. So it's, you're getting krautin today.
Yeah. So they're gonna have to squeeze some kraut.
It's a good hand and forearm exercise.
I have 2 kids. I'll have 2 buckets. Right.
Get squeezing, kids.
Squeeze the cabbage. So that they don't know. They don't know.
You haven't warned them.
They know
like,
that
hey,
we went.
Happy Christmas break.
They know that
we
went and bought supplies yesterday. They just don't know what we're gonna do with them.
Yeah.
But
is it just sauerkraut there, or are you gonna do some kimchi as well?
Yeah.
Nice.
So 2 buckets.
Nice. I will have to try.
And then I'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
I want to, and then we can adjust.
Yeah, I want to try your sauerkraut and kimchi
buckets.
And then I want to get
prepared to have some taste.
Absolutely. And like I said, like that is for sure one of my.
A lot of fermented things. Don't you worry. I am going to create
I'm gonna
you
start
buckets.
like that. That is like one of my real like short-term goals, is to start figuring out how to eat more fermented foods.
Yeah,
because
we need it. We honestly, it is for our gut. We need to eat it. So I even force the kids to have a little bit of kimchi. I know that they're not a big fan of the flavor, but I will mix it in things.
Yeah.
Or force them to have like at least a little bit on their plate.
Yeah.
They will eat it because they know.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have knowledgeable children.
Yeah.
Right. That will eat the things that they know that they should eat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I will definitely do pork and sauerkraut and kielbasa. Like that's and mashed potatoes. I might do. I think last year I did latkes instead of mashed potatoes, which I think I'm gonna start doing that every year, because latkes are better than mashed potatoes. Let's be real, really they're fried. Yeah. So that I will definitely do that for New Year's Day meal, because. Yeah, in my culture, you cannot have good luck unless you eat a big pile of sauerkraut.
Well,
like that was always what was told to me. So
I can't remember how long it takes for it to be done, but if we make it today, then we might at least be able to try it then.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, I can always just get the
to
bag.
see if we're all going to die or not.
I'm sure we won't die.
We won't die. We will be healthier.
Yeah.
What you would be feeling is not death. It's health.
Yeah. And lots of farts.
that feeling is health, not death. Well, I also made some other things for everyone for Christmas this year because I never got to the soap.
Yeah, I know.
But it was fine because honestly, it was only going to be for like my family anyway.
Yeah.
So fine.
Yeah. We can do
but
that
instead I took it upon myself to keep on the egg supply coming in. And I made
you said you've been making tons of eggnog.
Aged eggnog.
Nice.
So I will give you guys each a jar. So I have individual jars. So this eggnog, you're supposed to age it for 2 weeks to a year.
Okay. I've never done aged eggnog before.
Right?
So you don't look convinced.
I'm like, okay, I'll wait. And then I'm like, and then I guess we'll all drink it.
And
we'll all drink the Kool-Aid.
I was going to say,
at the same time.
Be a mini Jonestown, except we're just going to.
I mean, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
But there's enough.
Just like some serious food poisoning.
Well, there's enough alcohol in it. I feel like it'll
be fine.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited.
Which, did you use like brandy, rum, whiskey? What did you use for it?
So I used whiskey, bourbon, and brandy.
Nice. Yeah. We'll be fine.
So
we'll be too drunk to feel food poisoning.
Right? It'll be fine. It's fine. But I have been like, and I made a batch just regular so I could taste what it tasted like because I did the cooked version last year.
Yeah.
And yes, it tastes good, but I do not like to drink pudding.
Yeah.
So that was
very thick.
Not the way I wanted to do it. So the scary way, without pasteurizing any of the eggs,
aged way,
is so good.
Yeah, no.
So I've
done both cooked and raw in the past, and the raw version is way better.
Oh my gosh, so good. So I have the raw in the in the refrigerator, and that's what we've been drinking in the house. And then everything else I made into the aged eggnog and put it in the store. Just to separate them from the children.
So your children, you're not accidentally.
But they look good.
Yeah.
I haven't opened any of them.
Yeah.
So, but I have 2 for you guys, so you guys can have them. So, and you can have your own.
Yeah.
Just in case. I don't know.
Just in case we're just really.
We need to experiment
thirsty
with the jars. I don't know. No, yeah, one of you can, drink it at your leisure so you don't have to share. But I made that for the family this year for Christmas.
Nice. To
go with their Christmas gifts. So hopefully it's good.
I'm sure it'll be excellent.
I mean,
yeah.
Just it plain is so good at the house.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
And we went heavy on the nutmeg, which
good.
I like.
Oh yeah. I like a lot of nutmeg.
Yeah.
Fresh nutmeg, like freshly ground.
And I got
because it's like totally different when
vintage nutmeg grinder.
That's cute
for us to have it at the at the table.
Yeah, so
I have to get more nutmeg though.
Yeah,
you still have to actually go to a store.
Yeah, I think I got to go shopping up in Hanover for our Christmas meals and stuff once we get up there. I mean, I'm taking a bunch of stuff from down here too, but then getting most of the dairy and all of that stuff up there. And I swear I go into like a fugue state every time I try and shop at a grocery store that isn't the one that I'm used to.
Yeah,
it's like everything is in the wrong place.
I just
feel like I'm having a stroke.
I just don't like going
can't find
at
anything
all to the grocery store at this point. So now I'm just like, I still have to go because it's just so there really is so busy. They're just so busy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The other day, the self-checkout line was like so long. And I'm like, I don't even want to do the self-checkout.
Yeah.
Right. I don't even want to do that.
But I swear they at this point they like staff the absolute slowest people at like the actual staffed checkout lines. So it's even worse now if you go through the staffed checkout lines because I think they're intentionally trying to like phase those out entirely.
Well, there's literally like only 2 of them.
Yeah.
So I still have to go to the grocery store today. So I'm not a fan of that. But.
So you got to grocery shop and then krautin.
Yep. And then, but that's those are our last things, I think, this week.
Friday. We gotta do haircuts here. Oh, did you get it? Did you get the fly?
Almost. You missed it.
We gotta do, every once in a while she gets lucky and she's very proud of herself for getting a fly.
So close.
Yeah, we gotta do haircuts. I gotta give Matt a sweet fade today.
Nice.
As good as I can do, which is like, you get what you pay for, but I've done it enough that I'm okay. So gotta do that. I can't remember. I don't know if I'll get to editing this today or not. We'll see. So yeah. And then we leave on Saturday. So tomorrow's the last full day that we have before, which means tomorrow I'll just be like running around the house trying to think of
all the things you need to bring.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Well, I will try to bring your eggnog over. I should have grabbed it this morning. It was just chilly.
Yeah. I
went and opened the chickens right before I came over here. And then the peacocks, Chuck and Persephone have been out and about like all over the place. So the blue and the buff one.
Yeah.
So just so pretty, like now that they're out and about.
Yeah.
They're just beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get good shots of like both of them together.
Yeah.
But they're flighty. Flighty birds.
Well, at least they're pretty much like staying on the property at this point though.
Exactly. So right. So they're behaving.
Not, like,
right.
Trying to go, find romance in the woods around here anymore. So
I think they stick to each other. They like each other. I don't know how much. We'll see how much.
Yeah.
It is his mother.
Well, whatever.
Right? I know. Whatever.
Nature's gnarly. So
right.
I mean,
whatever.
Really pass judgment on them. Like
it
normal.
Is his mother.
Yeah. Well, I think let's maybe wrap it up. You've got a lot of stuff going on today. So
finalizing the holiday season.
Yeah. So, I'm glad we were able to do this. Happy Solstice.
Yes, happy solstice
everyone.
Now we can celebrate now that we both remember now.
Yep. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep the candles lit in the house and stuff
and
today
enjoy cookies.
and,
obviously,
and
that's how we celebrate.
Eat some cookies. Yeah, I'll probably do some other cooking of something or another today, and
I'll work on our practice kraut and kimchi.
Yeah, and I will endeavor to
for your guts
to learn what I'm doing with fermentation as well for the new year. That's my New Year's resolution is fermentation this year. I think.
Awesome.
So it should be fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas.
Thanks for watching if you did, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.